Some of these Year 9 students are about to embark on an educational journey. They're beginning a new DT module on CAD/CAM, but unusually, the focus will be more on the designing than the making. Over the years, the DT curriculum at John Kelly Boys' School in Neasden has become a little formulaic. There's not much original designing taking place, especially for CAD/CAM. But a new teacher's taking charge for a few weeks, and he's promising to shake things up a bit. From now on, students will have to come up with some original designs.
I think what I'm really looking forward to is opening their eyes to this sort of creative approach, and then to see the impact of that. Come in then, find a seat, welcome.
Steve Stott's an advisor with Barking and Dagenham, but today he's starting a 4-week module with Year 9 at John Kelly's, team teaching alongside Kelvin Jones.
This morning is all about creativity. It's about looking inside your imagination and pulling out of that imagination an idea that's unique to you.
2/3 of these boys speak English as an additional language. And over the years, the department's dealt with many of the students' literacy problems by adopting a rather prescriptive curriculum. But today, Steve's going back to first principles.
What's that?
Pencil.
Is it?
A fat pencil.
That's a fat pencil. Okay.
A triangle-shaped pencil.
Okay. So you think that's a pencil, do you? Can I tell you what I think this is? Do you remember what we were talking about at the start of this lesson?
Yeah.
The easiest way to get into this guy's significant intelligence and imagination is by getting him to use a pencil. This is the most powerful design tool you're going to use in my classes. And you're going to
By the end of his time here, Steve's hoping the boys will use CAD/CAM to produce functional objects like these lamps and CD holders, but based on original design concepts taken from familiar images in the outside world. Week 1 is all about observation.
The image that you see up on the screen there, can you tell me what you see there? A woman doing, what sort of Olympic discipline is it? What sort? Is it long jump or?
Yeah, long jump.
Long jump, is it?
No, high jump. High jump.
That's high jump. So you see a woman doing the high jump. Yeah? Okay. That's a good answer because you're simply telling me what is immediately obvious to you. Now, the issue about the sessions that we're going to work through in the next 4 weeks is opening your eyes to things that aren't immediately obvious. Because when I look at that, I don't just see an athlete. I see shape, form, I see the tension in the athlete's muscle.
Next, Steve shows the students how to put their observations down on paper.
What do you see here?
A circle.
An oval. So if I draw an oval here, see how I'm using the pencil, a very fluid motion. Instead of just seeing a body, what I'm seeing is a sweeping arc. And I'll try to recognise within the body
The muscles.
the musculature, exactly. Those are the observational skills that I want you guys to try and practice when you're creating your own drawings. Which is your skill? What I want you to do is to try and refine that figurative drawing and use separate words.
That's great. That's really fantastic. It looks so energetic and it's really dynamic, you know? It doesn't have to be exactly as realistic. But you can see you've animated it in your own unique way, Roberto. It's very good.
It's a relatively high-risk project for the head of department, but Alan Patterson is confident it's worth it.
The big thing for me is that it's developing the students' thinking, developing their creativity, getting original ideas, and then using this technology that we've got sitting around us to help us achieve that.
Now it's time to look at the relationship between form and function.
So, this is terrific, look at this. Excellent work. Now look at the flowing lines in this. What he's done is taken a somewhat complicated figurative shape, but reduce it to the most simplest of geometry. And within here, I can recognise circles and ovals. In parallel to acquiring the form, we need to think about the function. Now, let me just show you something. What do you think this does? What do you think is its function?
Hold something.
It holds something. Okay, why do you say that? Do you remember I said I want you to justify your opinions? Why does that hold something in your view?
Because it's got the shape of something.
Okay.
I think it holds books.
Hold books? Okay. That's exactly what it does. Could the function of this to be a CD holder?
Yeah.
So how many CDs would you get in there?
2.
So all of the effort in designing and manufacturing that, and all it can do
It's hold 2.
is hold 2 CDs. Is that a very efficient design?
No.
Okay. Guys, this next step represents what you should all be aiming to achieve by the end of this morning's session. By reducing the figurative to simple geometry, we can translate that simple shapes of circles and triangles and ellipses into computer-aided design. Once we've got it into computer-aided design, we can turn it into a manufactured outcome.
So we're getting rid of all these inner circles here. We're just looking at
sweeping arc.
the outward form.
So basically, yeah,
Yeah.
you draw this, but without no circles.
No, you've already drawn it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's different.
So,
Okay, like
no,
this, yeah?
no.
You just draw the body.
No,
No
what I-
circles.
No, what I'd like you to do is take your drawing, but you just concern yourself just with the form, the shape, the outline shape.
Oh, so like,
So we just
so you do like
don't do all these circles.
outline.
Yes, just the outline.
Before moving on to CAD, basic cardboard prototypes will test out the design ideas.
You could very easily fall into the trap of using CAD and CAM in a very prescriptive manner, where each student experiences exactly the same outcome. What this does is it releases the student's individual creativity. We should be pushing CAD to achieve things that are wholly more demanding than they can currently achieve.
I mean, they seem to have adapted to it really easily,
Well,
don't
look at them, and it's a hive of industry behind us. And I think once you give individuals freedom like that, then the issues of bad behaviour dissolve as well.
2 weeks later, the students have all produced their crude 3D prototypes. In Lesson 3, they'll divide into small groups to critique each other's work.
That, I think, is a very good start to your design process, Enoch. What I find really attractive about this is the simplicity of the design. Can you see how these flex and move apart? How do you think you can overcome that problem?
Put something like a straw, something there to hold them together.
Put something in between them.
Yeah,
to hold them together.
The straws to hold them together.
So,
Being level.
like a cylindrical shape in between them. And what will that do?
And hold them, pull them together.
It will hold them together?
Yeah, so they don't move about.
Okay. So if I put a CD there, and there's a cylindrical support between there, and get that CD in there. Where are you going to put the next cylindrical support, Enoch, on your design? Look at that shape and see if the rest of the group can help us decide where the best engineering solution is to support that form to that form. On his leg? Okay.
It stops it from going back as well.
What happens if I have a cylindrical support in between this element, these two elements here? What happens to the CD?
Well, kind of be hard to get out. It's got more space in between them.
So if you follow your suggestion and put the cylindrical support further back, whoops, it means the CDs can go back there, level.
Yeah.
All right.
Now the part they've been waiting for, using Pro Desktop to transfer these simple figurative shapes onto computer-aided design.
Right? You made it, you did it. Okay.
This week, Steve's working with CAD specialist Dan van Noordwijk.
You draw a little square over the area which you want to zoom into. Start in the middle. Oh, that's it. What Rashad and I are now doing is putting it down in a two-dimensional sketch that we are then going to extrude into a three-dimensional part, and we're going to assemble the parts in 3D so we can see what it looks like. We're going to do a few changes, few tweaks, so it looks aesthetically pleasing, so it looks as if it's got balance. You also see that the distances that we have decided upon when we made our cardboard mock-up, we're going to decide for ourselves. It's going to go a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller.
Now, before we can manufacture this, we have to make sure that we've got the base assembled to the single component. And the trick here is just to touch the edge of that. That's it. So now do you see what's happened? We captured those two opposing faces. So if you type in 20 into that window, now as soon as you click on OK, watch what happens now. You see that? You're creating the computer equivalent of your physical prototype.
Yeah, now what? Then you could go click on the slots or something, you know. But
I think this is giving the school a tremendous boost, trying to invigorate the syllabus, trying to get the kids to be more hands-on, to live out their creativity. It is amazing how you see their faces light up, the things that happen to them when they see. I've actually conceptualized this and I've brought it to being.
and yeah, and then you slap faces. Shut up, man. Okay. Alright, I'll shut up.
Sometimes one is a bit reluctant to take a risk. It's risky. You're risking equipment, you're risking material, you're risking your discipline, you're risking your lesson failing. But if you persevere and you love it into being, these kids will start blossoming under your tutorship. So, El, what colour are you going to make yours?
And last to Cam. In next week's final lesson, all the boys will complete their products. But Sohail's ready now.
Stick it in there. That's super. That's good. You want one copy? That's it. Just send to cutter. Hang on. That's fine. So every time it sparks, it's hitting the metal at the bottom of the plastic. Okay, young man. You want to open? Take out your project. Push it forward, like that. Okay, happiness. I'm going to lift this one, just shake it out, and there's yours. Right, take it, it's yours.
It's still possible to make nonsense using very expensive equipment. Now, I think what we've done in this scheme of work is that we have married traditional techniques such as drawing and sketching prior to going into CAD and into CAM.
We're still going to have pencils, and we're still going to have cardboard and cutters and a lot of wastage, and that is part of the design process. I don't see that we are going to move into these clinical theatres where we produce stuff solely using software. We're robbing the children of actually expressing themselves. It's about the children, it's not about most of the other things that we sometimes prioritize. And if we'll give them these opportunities, I'm sure we will reap the benefits.
So what was the best bit?
Designing it. You can see it, like how it looks and stuff. And then once you make it, then you can actually like get to feel it and stuff. And then you think that, oh, that's how I designed it.
Tell me what it's been like doing this.
It's been fun, and I feel like good. I feel proud of myself.